Alright guys, we're back in my garage for another video, and today we're going to be talking about the latest dash camera coming out from Blackvue. The new DR970X is launching on March 6th, so if you guys are seeing this video, then it is officially released, and this is their new flagship dash camera, so it's actually replacing the old DR900X dash cam that they've been making for several years now. Now, fortunately, they actually sent me one a little bit early so that I can do a little bit of a review for you guys and show you what the dash cam actually looks like. And we'll also do a little bit of a comparison because I do have the DR900X in my BMW 440i and I've been running it for a few years now. So we'll take a closer look at the DR970 and compare it to the DR900 so we understand what improvements they made, and hopefully this can help you make the decision if you're kind of on the fence.
Now, as always, for everybody that's new to the channel, I create these videos to help keep you updated on the latest developments in our community, as well as discuss technical topics so that we have a better understanding of how our engines work. So if you're interested in more videos like that, be sure to subscribe because there will be a lot more coming out in the future.
Now, before we jump into the dash cam, there are a couple things I want to let you guys know. First of all, I am a Blackvue ambassador, so that means you can use my discount code KERN417 for 10% off anything on the Blackvue website. So that includes the DR970 as well as any other dash cam accessory, basically anything they have on their website. So use the link in the description below and code KERN417 to get a discount. That also helps the channel grow as well, and thank you to everybody that has already taken advantage of that offer. Also, if you guys are watching this video, then I have given away the DR900 camera that's in my 440i. So I always do giveaways with my channel members after I create videos and new content about parts that I'm trying out. And if you guys are interested in being, in the pool of people that can get those parts, as well as some other, small behind the scenes videos and things like that, definitely consider becoming a channel member. It's $5 a month. The link is also down in the description below if you want to join. So thanks again to everybody that has become a channel member so far. And let's go ahead and take a deeper look at the new DR970X. So let's go ahead and take a look at everything that Blackvue has sent us today. The first thing, of course, is the big box. This has the actual dash camera in it. And we'll take a look at this in a second. But first of all, I do want to comment on this. So this is the CM100G LTE, also known for short, just the LTE module. What this does is it gives you wireless connectivity to your dash cam from anywhere. So the dash cam itself has a Wi-Fi signal, and if you're close enough to pick that up with your phone, you can connect to it, download videos and things like that. But this is what gives you the next level of connectivity, because this allows you to get access to it anywhere in the world. If you're at work and your car's in the parking lot and somebody hits your bumper, this will allow you to get a notification. You can get a live feed to see what exactly is going on by your car. You can download videos remotely. All of that is a capability that comes with adding in this LTE module. The good news is that, Blackvue knows this is a really important piece of the kit. So they are actually including this for free with the purchase of a DR970X as long as supplies last. So they have a bunch of these set aside to go with the initial orders on the DR970. If you're interested in getting it, I recommend getting it ASAP so you can also get that additional module for free. It's also going to include a SIM card for anybody that's in the US and Canada as well. So they'll include their Blackvue SIM so you can plug it in and get going right out of the box. Now, I don't want to show too much of those features in this video because the Blackvue app is actually getting updated very soon. So anything that I show you in this video will kind of get outdated pretty quickly. So once that update is released, then I'll show you guys the advanced features of how this all works. And yeah, either way, it's definitely a great feature to have. So we're going to go ahead and put this to the side for now, and let's take a closer look at the dash cam itself. All right, so we'll prop this open. And I'm going to go ahead and tape over this little code in the corner. This is your code to actually connect to your dash cam wirelessly. So we'll just put some tape over that for my security. But yeah, so this is what you're going to get in the box. It looks very similar to the packaging that came with the DR900. So you can see you have your main front camera, Should look very familiar if you already have a Blackvue dash cam. And then the same thing for the rear. Let's see. We can pull this out. There we go. Yeah. So the smaller rear dash cam. Now, this is going to be very similar in spec with the DR900. And the reason for that is because they're actually able to use the same camera sensors and just improve the software and some of the internals so that it gets better picture quality. So that's kind of the cool thing, is from the outside it'll look very similar, but it's a pretty much plug and play upgrade if you have the DR900X, and that way you just get better picture quality, better low light and things like that. And of course we're going to go and test that out because I have the DR900 already installed. But yeah, so you can see everything you get with the kit. This is all the hardwire wiring, a bunch of accessories to like keep everything clear and out of the way. This is your rear wire, I believe, to connect the front camera to the rear camera. And then this is probably what we're going to use today. So I can leave my DR900 plugged in and just add this as a secondary camera using my cigarette lighter. And we'll do some back-to-back comparison. So let's go ahead and pull this out. Take off some of this plastic. There we go. So let's go ahead and compare these just side by side really quick. So I have the 970 on top and the 900 on the bottom. You can see on the side there are part numbers to help you distinguish the difference, because obviously from the front they pretty much look the exact same, and they do actually use pretty much the same sensor. Like I said, they just use different software to help it get better clarity in different lighting situations and things like that. But the actual size of the sensor is the same. They both film in 4K. They both film 30 frames per second. The viewing angle is a little bit different, but I think it's just a part of the new construction. So nothing significantly different on the front of the device. Now on the back, it's a similar story. It still has the same 3 LEDs. They just labeled them a little bit different. So instead of record, GPS, Bluetooth, and then LTE Wi-Fi, this one shows record, then GPS, then Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and LTE. So I think it's just a little bit different for them to give a little more clarity, since the Bluetooth connection is probably better grouped with the LTE and Wi-Fi anyway. Now on the side, basically you can see on this side where the camera is, on the 970, you have this touchpad, and the touchpad allows you to basically set up manual recording depending on the firmware that you have installed. So you can set this to save an event. You know, if you got in an accident or just saw something interesting, you can tap this side of the dash cam and it'll put it in manual recording mode. Now on this side, they made a change that I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. So on the DR900, you have this Wi-Fi button. And anytime I'm walking away from the car, I'm sure it's overkill, but I turn off the Wi-Fi. That just makes sure that it's not using any extra power than it needs to, so it can record in parking mode as long as possible. So that's just something extra that I do. It's a quick button press, and that puts me, you know, in a lower power usage mode. However, they changed it to a format button, and this is good for anybody that's had SD card issues. This allows you to quickly format the SD card while it's plugged in so that you can get back to recording videos properly. So if something happens where it gets corrupted or whatever, you can press this format button. I think it's like 2 5-second long presses, like to make sure that you don't do it by mistake. But you hold it for 5 seconds, it'll beep, and you press it for 5 seconds again, and then it'll format the SD card. So obviously you don't want to get these mixed up. Don't press the format button thinking that it's the Wi-Fi button, but they do change the sequence of how you press it just to prevent you from, you know, formatting your SD card by mistake. Otherwise, everything else is the same. You can see all the other connections for power, USB, and connecting to the rear dash cam are the exact same. Now, as far as I can tell, the rear cameras are the exact same. So we can take a quick look. This is the one that came with the DR70. And this is the one that was already on my car. So again, the actual sensors for the camera are the same.
Everything else looks the same as well. It does have, a slightly different part number, so you can tell which one is for the 900 versus the 970. But yeah, and the same connections on the side. Nothing on this side, just an LED indicator. So yeah. Also, something I forgot to mention is that these new dash cams are actually going to be cheaper than the old ones as well. So they're no longer offering the 32 gigabyte SD card option. So it's going to start at 64 gigabytes. So that means you get more memory for less money, about like 20 to 30 bucks cheaper than what it was for the DR900X. So definitely a nice improvement in the value. So like I said, what I think we're going to do is go ahead and plug this in using just the cigarette lighter, do it kind of like a side-by-side with my DR900, and let's see if we can see any difference in the actual image quality. So let's switch over to some voice-over action, and here we're driving with the DR900X. I've had this dash camera for almost 2 years now, and I've loved it. It works really well, and you can see here in the daytime, everything is nice and clear. There's not really a whole lot to be desired, in my opinion. I mean, it's just obviously the Blackvue top-of-the-line dash camera, so it performs well, films everything exactly the way I think it should. I can, see everything really clearly, so I haven't really had any problems with this dash cam. But switching over to the DR970, I immediately see a difference. Now I realize the sky was really blown out before, and this tuning of the camera has kind of calmed that down. Now I can see the blue in the sky and kind of the individual clouds. Everything is just clearer. The color is more accurate to what I remember seeing when I was driving the car. And even as I'm passing this Amazon van, you can see a difference in how accurate the color is and even how clear some of the finer details are. And zooming in on the license plate, you can see it's just much sharper. There's more contrast. The darker letters stand out better against the white background, so it's much easier to read the license plate. So yeah, it's just a much better, higher quality use of the same lens and the same sensor on the 970. Then just out of curiosity, I did more of kind of a stress test, and you can see from farther away, it's still clearer. Again, the colors are more accurate to what reality is, and the car is just a little more detailed on the DR970 compared to the DR900. Even the sign is easier to see some of those details of where the arrows are and where the words are. Now, for a little more challenging circumstance, we're going to be driving into the sun, and you can see it blows out the sky a little bit. Some of the cars are easy to see, but especially the tree line and some of the other details are just kind of blown out, and you lose some of that focus. I'm still able to see what cars I'm behind, but it's just not perfect. Whereas here on the DR970, you can definitely tell that the tuning on the camera is deliberately kind of muting the sunlight, making it something that's an individual object up in the sky and allowing you to see all the extra detail of the trees, the cars, the power lines. Everything is just much easier to see. Now, doing some testing at night, both cameras performed pretty similarly, especially as we approach this car. You can see that the DR900 has no issue pulling out the detail in the license plate and seeing all of the letters. And of course, the DR970 performs well also, but when I actually zoomed in on the license plate, I was able to tell a difference in how each camera handled the extra reflections from the license plate in your headlights. It's obvious in the side-by-side that the DR900 shows more reflections and is more blown out, and I think in the harshest conditions, the DR970 would have a much easier time making out a clear picture of a license plate. And then this is probably the most challenging test that I did. Driving behind this truck that doesn't really have good license plate lights on a road that doesn't really have any street lights. You're able to see the truck pretty clearly, of course, but the license plate itself is extremely blurry on the DR900. The DR970 struggled here as well, but it just seems like you're able to get a clearer picture of the truck. It's picking up more light, and the contrast is a little bit better, so you can make out some more details on the truck. And as you zoom in on this still and the license plate, it's still not fully legible, but it's much clearer and higher contrast compared to the DR900. And I think the 970 will again perform better in the worst conditions.
So those are my thoughts on the DR970, as well as the comparison information between the DR900 and DR970. Obviously, the DR970 is definitely the better one between the two, and that's what I plan on running for the foreseeable future in my 440i. Just for kind of some final thoughts, I do think there are two big gaps here. The 970 is great in the way that they improved it, but the first big thing that they missed is it still does not have 4K filming in the rear. I'm not sure why. Obviously there are other companies that have offerings with 4K rear filming, but for some reason none of the Blackvue dash cams offer that. The other thing is there's no 3-channel option, and for people like me that like vlogging or just filming things inside their car while they're driving, it's really unfortunate that they offer it on the 750 line, and of course on the new 770 line that's going to be a feature, but it wasn't an option for the 900, and it still isn't looking like it's an option for the 970. So I'm not really sure why they made that decision. I mean, you think with their flagship, they would try to have at least something that offers the top of the line of everything, but they're still kind of segmenting their markets and giving certain product lines certain features, which I guess ensures that they're getting sales across the board. But for those of us that really want the best of the best, I wish they had that one option that just had everything, and it would make the decision really easy. But for now, I still think that the DR970 is definitely a worthwhile upgrade over the DR900, so I recommend you guys check that out if you are interested. Again, link in bio, and use the discount code KERN417 for 10% off. And if you order early enough, you will be getting that LTE module for free as well. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this helps. And if you have any other questions or comments, leave them down below.